Hey guys, this is Eamon. So in this video I want to talk to you about whether you should run Facebook ads for your painting company, whether your business is actually in the right spot where you can invest in Facebook. And I've made another video about the kind of expectations you should have once you make that decision, but this video is about how to make that decision in the first place. So the points for running Facebook ads is I'd say if you're above about 300K in revenue, that's the perfect spot where you can invest because you're not going to get an immediate return and you can kind of handle the uncertainty of that. It's not going to like break the business. So above 300K, that's a perfect spot. And especially if you've bought and closed leads from Angie before, meaning not all your business has come from repeat business or referrals, because that means that you've got a proven sales process that you can close cold traffic, which is very important. Closing cold leads and warm leads, it's a completely different game. The other thing is now that you're sick of buying those leads, you want to try to generate your own, leads that have your name on them that have come to you specifically. And you probably have experience with these, people have come to you through your website or things like that. Now, website leads are going to be a little bit different from Facebook leads, but still, closer than the really warm like referral leads. So if you've tried the Angie leads and now you're done with that, or you at least want to supplement it with Facebook and other kinds of marketing until you can completely go off it, if that's what you decide to do, then I think you should consider Facebook ads. The other thing is that you have time to run the estimates, okay? Because if you're actually going to scale your business, you just need to get more estimates. You need to get into more strangers' houses, send more proposals, follow up with more people. You need to have the time to do that. And if you're at a point in your business where you're doing everything, then that's just not possible. You're not going to be able to have the time to run the estimates to actually make the most of the leads that you're paying money for. The last thing you'd want is to have leads coming in and they're just kind of like rotting away inside your CRM. And I hope you have a CRM. So that's why time is really important. You need to have all these other, or at least a lot of these other functions delegated. So you ideally wouldn't be doing any of the painting yourself. Um, the estimates for now, it's probably best that you're the main sales rep. And the proposals and the follow-up, again, best that you do that yourself. Or even the follow-up process. I've made videos on this. You can just automate the whole process with your CRM. And the last thing is that you've got about 2 crews, so you've got the capacity for scale. So like I said, if you're above around 300K, let's say you're 300K to 500K, and you just hover between them. With those 2 crews, you probably have the capacity to get up to 1 million, or at least, a little bit below that, like 750, 800K. You've got the capacity to scale production, and your only bottleneck, the only reason you're not doing that, you're not doing those numbers, is you just don't have enough jobs. The problem is the marketing, and that's probably why you're watching a video about Facebook ads. So that's really my that's when I think this is the perfect spot. If you meet like I'd say like 3 of these, even all 5 of them, that's the perfect spot for you to start looking to Facebook ads and start scaling those. As soon as you start getting good results that make sense for you, just start scaling them because, like I said, you've got the capacity for it. If you've got about 2 crews. So these are like the characteristics of a business that is ready to start running their own ads and start getting their own leads. And now some reasons why you might want to hold off. So if you're in this position, let's say that now isn't the right time. If you're below about 300K in annual revenue, then the business can't really handle uncertainty if not getting an immediate return. Unlike any advertising, Facebook, you're not going to get an immediate return with it. I've spoken about this before, but you want to judge things over like a 90-day period, at least. So 3 months until you start seeing the numbers that you're happy with. Another reason is if you're still doing the painting. Okay, if you're still on the job site, you're also answering the phone, you're also doing all the follow-ups, you're also, you know, closing off the projects and opening up the projects, then, you're not going to have much time to run estimates, for example. You're not going to have much time to get back to people, to follow up with people, and like I said, get the most out of the leads that you're already paying money to get. Like I said, you don't want them just rotting in your CRM. It's not a good position because the longer they stay there, the less likely it is that they'll ever buy from you. That's why you want to strike while the iron's hot. Another thing is if you haven't closed cold leads, so you don't have experience closing people who, when they landed on your website or they saw your ad, that's the first time they ever heard of you. That, like I said, that's completely different to the referrals or the word of mouth. Because for these people, you're going to need to have a proven sales process. You need to have a proven appointment setting process, first of all, and then the sales process. And in my opinion, at this point, you're probably better off getting your reps in with Angie leads. So my advice is that you try buying leads from Angie or Home Advisor or whatever services you've got in your area and build up to the 300K a year mark, okay? Because at that point, you're going to have a decent sales process, especially if you've got a CRM and you're getting in touch with people immediately the second their information gets sent to you with a CRM. You're probably going to have an above average close rate on your Angie leads compared to other contractors or other companies who aren't using a CRM. And you should try to find a crews that you trust, okay, so that you're no longer involved in production. You're not on the job site yourself, painting. Now, you probably still have to do some other things like project management, but again, these are things that can be outsourced later. And at that point, then you can start looking to Facebook ads because that's when you're back at this point, okay? You'll be above the 100K. You're going to be sick of buying leads, and you're going to have time. And this is really important that you have time to actually, fulfill on this extra demand that you're trying to drum up. Because what's the point of generating the demand if you can't actually fulfill on it? So that's my opinion on the matter. I hope you found it useful. And if you're looking to generate more estimates for your business, you can book a consultation with me on my website. I'll leave it in the description and the top comment. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments as well, and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching.